Hello, Professor Dunaway and classmates. My name is Iana Randall, and I'm really excited to review this play with you guys. This is my take. This play was absolutely amazing. Although it was engaging, I struggled at first getting into it because I had to get used to the Old English. But after I gotten used to it, I understood it a lot more. It flowed in some places, but others not so much. And if I hadn't read a summary of the play before I started watching the recording, I would have been completely lost. It kind of cut from scene to scene, so I don't think it flowed that well, but towards the end, it started to get better. This play was based off of Shakespeare's play, so it wasn't too original, but the music and singing were pretty original. A couple of key plot points are when the main king starts to get jealous and suspects his friend and wife, the queen, of having an affair, as well as when the oracle relays the news that the queen is in fact innocent. Another key point was when the king's friend's son and the king's long lost daughter had begun to fall in love with each other. The main conflict was in fact resolved by the king's right-hand man breaking the rules of his exile. He and the king's friend had snuck back into the kingdom after being expelled and helped his daughter to get back to the king. I feel like there were really no antagonists in this play only because of the fact that after the king had found that his allegations were wrong, everyone had each other's best interests at hearts, or so they thought. If I absolutely had to choose one, though, I would choose the king because he did lock up his wife and kick out his friend and servant from his kingdom. The protagonists were literally everyone else involved in the play. The acting quality and believability of the characters were pretty good for the most part. Sometimes I would be reminded that they were acting because they would say or sing their lines as if they had just learned them, but mostly I was convinced. The style of speaking was usually through dialogue or song. In dialogue, there was really no rhythmic speaking unless we, the audience, were being led into a song. Other than that, it was pretty normal speaking. In song, though, there was always a rhythm or beat. Music was incorporated both with and without the songs. In dialogue, there would sometimes be suspenseful samples of notes playing in the background, but in song, there were a plethora of instruments and sounds. It was very appropriate, the music was, and it kept me in touch with the whimsical side of the play. It really went with the theme and supported the story really well. From what I've read about Shakespeare's version, the director of this play has done him justice. Not only did they stick to the theme, they also included their own music tastes and added a little humor as well. The essence of the story really did move me because infidelity and assuming huge things about one another is really a huge problem in these times. And the king had gone to such drastic measures just to be proven wrong. A couple of people died because of his reckless decision making. The theme was extremely apparent, and even if it hadn't been, the narrator was pretty awesome. The thing that mostly stood out to me were everyone's costumes. They were also colorful and loud, and I loved how even the most minimal character was noticeable because of what they were wearing. Some of the props were pretty great and well placed, but other than that, nothing really stood out to me much more. This play is in its own world, and they were speaking Old English, so I'm sure that the story takes place long before modern time. The tones, themes, and attitudes were all pretty much in sync. That's one of the reasons that I think that I was able to stay focused for the entire production is because of the actors' tones and postures and how they all reflected each other's. It appears that there were plenty of people in the audience, so I believe that the play did quite well for itself as as it pertains to turnout. And overall, I would have loved to see this production in person, and I'm sure that I would have had a blast with the rest of the audience members. Thank you for listening.